And we are live.
What's going on, man? We brought out a hella special guest today, man. Big Brando, man.
Yeah.
I'm your
What's going
host.
down, guys?
What's happening, man? Appreciate you coming out, brother. Appreciate you coming out. I'm Seak,
It's a
Parris.
legendary interview.
Yeah, man. Long overdue, long awaited. So, man, I want to just jump into it, man. For those that don't know you, can you just give like a brief history on yourself?
Oh yeah, man. So I go by Big Brfandoh on YouTube. That name is from years ago when I was a kid. One of my big homeboys, he was calling another dude named Brandon. My real name's Brandon. He was calling him Brandoh. And I was Lil Brandoh for the longest time until I got older. And then that's when my friends, family, like my mom calls me Brandoh, like everybody does.
Mm-hmm.
So it was an easy call just to name the YouTube channel that. But I had no aspirations of being a YouTube content creator. I just thought it was going to be for my homies. I was going to make a couple videos and then I could just send them the links like, hey, check it out. This is how you get your wholesale license. And this is how you do this. This is how you register for a business. Until I started seeing a bunch of people hit me up and was like, hey, this is good information. Can you make more videos? And then I did it. So before that, I was just printing t-shirts, man. And the reason I made the channel was because everybody seen that I was buying stuff wholesale, like t-shirts and wife beaters and tank tops and hoodies. And everybody just wanted to know how to get down with a wholesale license. They didn't know you had to be actual business until I told them how to do it. Right. And then that just started everything off, man.
So how many years have you been doing the t-shirt business?
Oh, shit. I started printing t-shirts, I think in 96. 95, 96 is when I like figured out what screen printing was. Because I didn't know how they were getting the image on there. And I thought everything was airbrushed at that time until I figured out what screen printing was. And then I went into the yellow pages. I went to the phone book and I was looking up print shops in my local area just to see how much that kind of stuff cost. And luckily, one dude was just like, hey, I'll show you the process. Like, I'll show you what we're doing. Because I had a million questions like everybody does.
For sure.
And then once I started figuring it out, then I said, oh, man, this is it. This is how we do it. And then I just jumped right in, man. But I went in like my eyes were way bigger than the actual appetite at that time because I was like, I wanted to buy everything that the shops had. You know what I mean? I wanted to fill my garage with that stuff. And even if I didn't know how to use the shit, I was just trying to get in there and start printing t-shirts. And I wasted an ass load of money, man. I wasted a dumb amount of money trying to learn the craft and trying to figure out my business. I didn't really get savvy until like 2003, 2004 and 5 is when I kind of figured out how to make money and actually turn it into a real business instead of just printing t-shirts for like car clubs and shit like that.
Yeah, man.
What was the actual first piece of equipment that you did buy?
Oh shit! I bought a single head press. It was it was used, and this is when like you would go to like we have swap meets out here in Los Angeles. Certain days out of the week, the swap meet just sells a bunch of junk. Like people bring shit from home and they're just trying to sell it. It ain't like socks and cologne and stuff like. It's just like everybody's junk. I was walking around and I seen a single press, and it was on like a sawhorse, like the little thing that you put like wood on so you could cut it. It was loaded up on that thing. And then I knew exactly what it was because I had seen it. There was no screen on there. And then I ended up buying the shit for $50. Brought it home. And then I just went out and bought like 10 screens. I think, and I was using like 110 mesh. And I wasn't even using the right mesh count. I wasn't using the right inks. I just found some place in downtown that was going to sell me some screens. And I bought 20 screens, brought them home. And I didn't know how I was going to burn them. I didn't know what the hell I was doing, man. And that was the first thing that I did. And I never made $1 off of that little press. I didn't make a single dollar because I couldn't figure the shit out.
Yeah.
So I got so frustrated. I was like, man, fuck this. I'm just going to get my stuff screen printed from that shop that I went to instead of doing it on my own. And then I started seeing that I was like losing money paying somebody else. Then I jumped back in and then found some more used equipment and tried to get into it again. But I didn't make $1 on that first one, man.
Lesson learned, though.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, man.
Lesson learned. So I got a question, man. You from California, Gardena, California. And LA area. So how did you avoid the gang banging and stay focused on the t-shirt business?
Oh man, like without saying too much, I got caught up in a lot of that early on at that same exact time. My local heroes were the dudes that was like getting the boogie on in the street, like the dudes that was like really moving and really making money. Those were my local heroes, right? Like I wanted to be like them. I wanted to drive the Cadillacs like them. I wanted the Impalas like them. And then my uncle and one of my older cousins who was doing their thing, I started looking up to them, and I was like, oh man, like these dudes is out here getting money. And me and my brother fell into it a little bit. But I also understood like I'm way too young, and my OGs put me on and was like, there ain't no future in this if you're really trying to do this, right? I was just addicted to the money. I just wanted to get money. I wanted to drive nice cars. I wanted cool clothes. And like I grew up poor as shit. So it was like sneakers was everything. So if you guys remember, I don't know if you guys are into sneakers, but in 95, Air Max came out with the 1995 Air Max. That's my favorite shoe. The Neon 95 is my favorite shoe because I seen that thing in Foot Locker. It was $135 back then. And my dad was like, $135, you ain't getting shit. You know what I mean? Like, it was like, you're going to get these Reebok Classics right here. And these things right here was like $40.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? So for me, it was just, I wanted to look cool. And all my homeboys, like everybody's older than me that I grew up with. And I was just trying to keep up with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Once I started seeing dudes get busted and I started seeing dudes, you know, things weren't working out for them, then I just learned from their mistake. And I said, hey, you know what, maybe it's time to kind of just like cool out on everything and trying to be this street dude and just do my own thing. T-shirts wasn't the outlet at the time. I was selling rims, bicycles. I was selling all kind of shit, man. The ill one was I used to build lowrider bicycles, and then I used to take it down to the beach out here where all the white people lived. And then I would sell them the lowrider bicycles because they was too scared to buy it from the city.
Yeah.
So I was building them, bringing them out there, selling them to them. And I was buying the stuff dumb cheap at the swap meet. And like I said, I was just addicted to the money, man. And I think I'm still like that. I'm not fully motivated by the money, but it does drive me.
You have that entrepreneurial spirit. Is anybody else in the family entrepreneurs, or is that just something that was ingrained from the jump?
Yeah, man, nobody in my family owned a business. Nobody in my family was doing it. Like I said, my uncle what used to do his thing in the street. My older cousin used to do his thing too. And that's where my business savvy comes from, is from those dudes kind of putting me on and just understanding the ground rules of business, right?
Yeah.
Selling different products, but the rules kind of apply still.
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely true, man.
Yeah.
It's a hell of a story. Like we had Tony Odyssey Rock on here.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of famous people out of y'all city.
Oh yeah. And you know what's crazy is that dude, I know him through YouTube and making t-shirts and stuff like that, but he grew up painting, like doing graffiti with all of my homeboys, like my older homies. Yeah. And once everybody started talking, they were like, hey, wait a minute, I know him. And we started talking, and then we found out that we knew the same people, and he was hanging out with people that was hanging out with my wife back in the day. And it was just a small world. And this city is tiny. Like this city is very small. But it's a lot of cool people that come out of this city that, you know, just have that same little entrepreneur spirit, and everybody just wants to get after it.
Yeah, man. So you're a father, right? Correct?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So are your children, do they have the spirit you have, or
nah? You know what's crazy is they all understand. They see what I do, but none of them really want to get into t-shirts. None of them really want to.
That's how
you know what I mean? Like no, they really don't want to be selling nothing. They kind of just want to just be, you know, figure it out for themselves and do their own thing. And I don't push them into doing it. When we do festivals, obviously I recruit my kids to come and help me work the booth and fold t-shirts and stuff like that. But outside of that, I kind of just want them to learn just by observation, just seeing me getting it and working. And then hopefully that goes into them. And they're like, all right, you know what? Whether he's working on YouTube or t-shirts or day job or whatever it is, I want them to just get that grind out and just be like, hey, you know what? Hard work pays off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing. I can't teach them how to work hard, but they can learn through observation. They could see me do it, because that's what I did. My dad never sat me down and said, hey, man, this is how you become a man, or this is how you be a father. I just watched him. I said, all right, I'm going to do what he's doing. You know what I mean? He's doing this to provide for the family. Obviously, that's my job. Now I got to do that. So I'm hoping my kids pick up the same thing.
Yeah, man.
It'd be cool if they were into it, but at the same time, I would hate to push them into it and they had no real interest in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so speaking for somebody on the same fence as you, I don't know if you know I have 10 children. My sons, my older sons just joined with me, and we're all actually working together. So I'm making a transition from Mike to Grizzly Customs. But they did their own thing for a while. They worked for other jobs for a while, and then they was like, look, we see you over here making plenty of money, and you don't be stressing. So I can work with you.
That's
right.
One
of the proudest days of my life. But so I got boys working.
Oh yeah, like my youngest son, he's really like he's in the money, right? Like he 9 years old, and that dude is just everything he looks at online on YouTube revolves around money, right? So he like when I had got the plaque for the 100K, he was like, man, does that come with a check? And I'm like, man, that shit don't come with a check, man. He thought there was some money involved. I said, nah, that's not how it works. Cause you know, he looking at the Mr. Beast and all these other dudes with all the money. Man, you don't got money like them? Like, hell no, I don't got no money like them, man.
Man. Congratulations on that 100K though, man. I
appreciate that, man.
That was a dope accomplishment, man. Just seeing like where you come from, and like I said to you off camera, like one of the things that's dope about your channel is, man, you are humble. It's not about you're really here to help. You really give up good game, free game, and really teach people the fundamentals of the business itself. Rather, and the stuff that you teach is teachable, is usable in other areas of life, man.
Oh yeah. You know what's crazy is when I started the whole channel, and like I said, I was just trying to do this just to help out my homeboys at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But then when I really started to see people reaching out and having real questions and interested in this stuff, that's when I was like, hey, man, like, I don't mind helping out. Like back then when the channel was a lot smaller, man, I was emailing back and forth with everybody that hit me up. Like everybody. It didn't matter if they were asking the same question a million times. I was going back and forth because I know what it's like to just be lost and not have any answers. You know what I mean? So if I have a little bit of knowledge on this thing, I don't mind sharing it with everybody. You know what I mean? But I do understand the backlash that I used to get from the old timers and the old t-shirt forums and all that stuff, because I was giving up the game that they was protecting. But you know, at the same exact time, you go into those t-shirt forums back then and ask a question, and everybody started like just bashing you. And it was like, all I want to know is like, what's the popular blank t-shirt? Like I'm asking regular questions like everybody else used to, and they're getting on me, telling me to go do my own research and do all this. And I'm like, man, just point me in the right direction. Just tell me one company that I could go look at. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
And those old timers, they wasn't having it, man. Back then, they weren't trying to help nobody. It was just it was more about like showing off their own shop and what they're doing.
Yep.
And it wasn't about helping. It was just kind of like a pissing contest. So when I got on YouTube, I said, hey, I'm about to give up all the secrets right now. And these dudes about to be mad as shit, man.
Yeah, man.
Hey,
back then, everything was for sale.
Yeah.
It wasn't no free game giving, man.
Nah.
So
I think you were one of the first. I'm sorry. I was just gonna say, I think you were one of the first people to talk about screen printed transfers without a price attached to it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's crazy is, and I was giving up the transfer companies and all that early, right? And then once I started seeing a bunch of people selling the information, I said, that's cool. It didn't bother me. But then when somebody started selling the information under my name, and it was like, these are Big Brandoh's secret lists or secret transfer companies, and they were selling it for like $120.
Wow.
And I said, oh, come on, man. So that's why when I ended up putting out the list of the transfer companies, I sold it for $15. And then to prove that it was coming from me, I offered a one-on-one session to like a Skype session. Because I only thought like maybe like 50 people would buy it or something like that. But since then, it's like a bunch of people were into it. But I offered that 30-minute one-on-one session just to prove to the people like, hey, look, you're buying the information from me and I'll even coach you through it after you buy the ebook. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that was like, I'll tell you this, that shit was time consuming like a motherfucker, man, because I bit off more than I could chew. I was doing like 6 to 7 like live sessions a day. And
wow,
I was getting burnt down. These are 30-minute sessions, man. And I was dying after a while. So I had to cut it off like after a year and a half. I was like, hey, I can't even keep up with this because I was booking people out like months out. And I felt bad. I was like, man, some of these people buying this book just because they want the 30-minute session, but I'm fully booked up. You know what I mean? And I just couldn't do it, man.
I ended up buying that right after you stopped doing the sessions.
Oh, yeah. Damn, man. Yeah. And that was like, I felt bad doing it that way, but I was like, man, I just cannot keep up with this, man. But in doing that,
y'all actually
people, man. There was so many cool people from around the world that was like, we was doing these one-on-one sessions with, and man, there's like dudes from Australia that had no access to no transfer companies whatsoever. Right. And they was just like, hey, like, I never even knew about this. Now I'm about to go look it up and, you know, trying to help people out there. It's crazy.
Yeah, man.
So you started in the 90s. You seen DTF back in the old days before it became so popular now.
Oh man, I seen some crazy shit like before when the ISS show was called ISS back then, and it was mainly screen printers that was at this show. That show used to be invite only, so you had to be invited by like somebody else that already attended the year before, or from a vendor that was going to be there. So the only way to register was to get invited in. And back then it was like old screen print dudes that didn't want to talk about nothing but screen printing, right?
Yeah.
Now to what the show is crazy to see that DTF and transfers kind of took over. And when DTG was coming out, like the screen printers hated DTG, right? They was like, hey man, like this technology ain't gonna last, this and that. And then that shit really boomed, right? DTG came out and everybody wanted a printer. And I started to see more DTG companies and less screen printers at the show. And I've been going every year for I don't know how many years. Now to see everybody selling DTF printers, I'm like, man, the game's changed. Like heat pressing took over the whole show. You know what I mean? There's still a space for commercial size screen printers, but nobody's talking manual screen printing no more. Nobody's talking anything crazy. It's like auto presses and then screen print transfers, DTF transfers, sublimation. And sublimation ain't even as big as it was, you know, a few years ago.
Not at all. Not at all.
Just to see the show change, you could kind of see how the industry changes, right? But man, I when I got into vinyl, like early 2000s, the vinyl was heat transfer vinyl was thick as hell. It was like putting like, you know, like a fat sticker on a t-shirt that didn't have any movement to it. And that's kind of what gave heat pressing a bad name, was all that stuff back then. They don't understand that vinyl is thin as hell now, and it's flexible and it stretches and all this stuff.
It's got fur texture, it got different patterns.
It's crazy now, man. And I can't even keep up with all the specialty shit that's coming out now, man.
Yeah, it's a gang of different cool stuff, man.
Yeah.
Cool stuff.
Because it only benefits us, right? Because then we could use all that stuff to make money with, right?
Yeah.
I used to be, and this is my own fault, I used to be so close-minded when it came to all the specialty stuff. I didn't even think about the possibilities. I was just like, hey, look, I'm only going to use regular vinyl. I'm only using certain colors. I'm not using anything crazy. And then once Econo Transfer was like, hey, I know you don't like using this stuff, but just test it out. Once they sent me some stuff and some of my clients seen that I was offering that, like I was making all kind of money. And I was like, man, I've been shutting this stuff out for years. And that was my own fault. Like I thought I knew everything. And now anytime Econo sends me something, man, I test it out and try it out. Like, I don't care how crazy this shit looks.
Yeah, Econo vinyl was dope. Shout out to James and them, man.
Yeah. And for those dudes, like James is a cool dude where he got his finger on a lot of the shit that's going on in the industry, but he really understands the content creator side of things, right? There's some of these companies that don't really understand the content creator side. They just want to get the promotion. But James understands the shit, man.
Yeah.
Hey y'all, shout out to everybody out in the crowd from Brandoh's channel. Like, comment, subscribe, man. We do this once.
I can't even see any of these comments on my side unless I'm not pushing the right buttons, but I think it's dope, man.
It should
never mind. I got it.
You got it? Okay.
Yeah. I was in the wrong chat bubble, but yeah. Hey, shout out to everybody, man. This is cool.
Yeah, man. Appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. Y'all subscribe. We do this every Thursday, man. This is like the we got the golden ticket on this one though, you know. But yeah, man. So Brandoh, man, you started with vinyl. You still use vinyl to this day. You still do the screen print transfers, man. What's your true feelings on DTF? Now,
for myself, I think
crazy.
DTF is dope as hell. It has its space here in the industry. I don't use it as much as I should. And one of the big reasons is every time when I buy transfers, I buy them in bulk. Like I usually buy by the hundreds. Yeah. And for a DTF, like a local guy that has a DTF printer, if I'm trying to order 100 game sheets, they can't turn it around as fast as like Supercolor or somebody else. So that's why for me, low quantities, DTF wins all day long. Period. All day long. I don't know if you guys experience this with selling t-shirts, but what I noticed with my customers and clients is they're not really reacting to the multicolor stuff no more. A lot of them are going back to just the simple single color designs. I talk about this on my Patreon and in my Facebook group, but when I start to see a shift like that, I kind of start to look at why everybody's transitioning. And a lot of it is some people just get burnt out from having loud colors and multiple colors on a design, right? And going back to the classic single color thing, it doesn't go away. You know what I mean? It'll still be there even when everybody's doing big prints or all over prints. People will still come back to the classic stuff. I'm starting to see the shift now in the customer side of things because I think everybody ran to DTF and started doing multicolors because now we had the opportunity to, and flooded the market. And now people are like, hey, you know what? All that multicolor stuff was cool, but I kind of want to go back to my black t-shirt with white print. Or I kind of just want to go back to single color prints. As business owners, we just have to adapt to those times, right? Yeah. And DTF isn't the answer to everything, but at the same exact time, I think it has its space for, like I said, the low quantity guys, man. That, like, if I was doing low quantity runs, that would be the move for me, man. To like getting one of those like gang sheets that'd be like by 10 feet, is like 22 by 10 feet. Those kind of rolls. You got to sit there and cut it all out. But at that same exact time, man, that's where the money's at, man.
How many brands have you inspired or have you started up since you started? Because every time I turn around, I know it has to be a lot of brands.
There's a lot of them, man. And some of like the real notable ones, like the dudes that I see like really killing it is this dude, his brand's called Rebel Reaper. His name's Matt. This dude started heat pressing. He's in Arizona. He started heat pressing out of a storage unit. And just like lost his apartment and he still wanted to keep things going. Now that dude has like a huge ass store in Arizona. And it was just from his own ideas, wanting to put them out, the will not to give up, because he was just like, hey, there's something here. I got a little bit of traction. I'll just get this storage unit. And we're talking Arizona, 110, 120 degrees in a storage unit pressing t-shirts. Yeah. So now that dude is doing like crazy. He's doing like custom motorcycle vests. He left he still sells t-shirts, but he ain't printing them himself no more. It's seeing like dudes like that was like really grinding it out at the very beginning to like really making some shit. That's the thing that like really keeps me going, because out of everybody that watches me, as long as you take like a little nugget of information that I'm sharing, and I don't care if you watch a million other channels, but if you get something from myself, at least I know it's going to use. You know what I mean? I don't want to just be talking on deaf ears. I don't want to be talking to people and they're like, yeah, that's good information, but not use the information. When people actually use it and then come back to me and be like, hey, you know what? I did that marketing strategy and it worked for me, or I used those transfers and it worked for me. Then I know the shit that I'm talking is actually getting put to good use. And then I'm like, but to put a number on how many brands, man, I can't even count them. Like there's a lot of people that'll hit me up and share the success story, and I like reading it, but it's a lot of them that are like killing shit now. Oh, another one is this lady, she does decals. She never got into t-shirts, and she clears over 100K every year just selling decals. I think
Wow.
I talked about it on my channel before, but she kills, and it's just her and her daughter with a cameo, and she kills like 6 figures off of a cameo selling stickers.
That's crazy right there.
Yeah, and it's not like I rarely talk about stickers on my channel, but it's just more about the business side of things that she picks up on, and then she just applies it to her own self. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So we got a couple of questions.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, go on. There's a lot of stuff over there.
Scroll back a little bit, y'all. Give me a second. We throw this on here. Powerful story, folks. This is Marquis C. Jones. Folks see your glory, but have no clue as what your story to get there entails. That's so true.
Yeah.
Roman Empire. Thank you, Big Brando, for all the great videos and the great details for me and for Seak as well too. Thank you. Greatly appreciate it.
Appreciate that, guys.
I'm still going through. Teresa Gorman. And we appreciate your knowledge. Thanks. It's a lot of thank yous, and everybody's,
it's dope, man. It's dope to see it. Every time I go live and I start reading stuff like this, to me, like I said, it sounds like people are actually using the information that I'm sharing. That's all I really want. You know what I mean? And I want people to surpass me. If you guys making millions off of t-shirts, I ain't nowhere near that. But if somebody out there is doing it, oh man, I celebrate that win all day long.
Man.
It's a roadmap that you laid out there for us when you was disclosing your information, your YouTube journey. Make it very easy to follow, and man, hats off to you.
You know what's crazy is when I used to look at YouTube videos about people making shirts, everybody was so polished up, right? And everybody's talking perfect English, and they doing this and they showing the process. And I didn't hear nobody speaking like me. And I know there's a lot of people out there that speak like me, talk like me, look like me, that could really relate to how I'm talking and understand. Like, some people learn differently. Some people learn through books. Some people can learn through just hearing somebody talk. And I'm one of those people. Like, if I hear somebody talk about something, then it's like bingo. Like, podcasts to me is a godsend, because when I hear people talk about their success story and their mistakes made, I hear that loud and clear. If I was reading it, it probably wouldn't come across the same exact way. So when I started making videos, I said, hey, I need to actually speak like I regularly speak. Like, I don't want anybody to be like, see me out in public and be like, hey, you don't sound like the videos. And it's like, hey man, this is how I talk to my kids. This is how I talk all day long. You know what I mean? It ain't nothing crazy, but I know there's people that understand the way I speak. There's also a lot of people that hate it, man. I face so much negative comments on the way I talk, but it's only a few of them. You know what I mean?
The weird part about that is I've heard you talk about that in the past, but the weird part about that is, man, they tuned into you. You didn't go look for them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
People just show you the mental capacity that people have. Like,
the thing I always tell people on my channel, and when I hear people say like negative stuff about how I'm talking, like they like the information, but they don't like the delivery of the information. The analogy I always give them is, if they were homeless and they were asking for food, and I came out and I gave them some food, and they were hungry, they ain't ate in like 5 days, and I gave them a plate of food, and they look at the food and say, hey, how come you didn't warm this up for me?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's almost that same thing. I'm trying to help you. I want you to eat, but at the same exact time, it's not prepared the way that you want it. And these people, they don't understand that. It's like, hey, I want you to tell me the information, but cut back on the cussing, or don't be yelling in the mic, or don't, you know what I mean? It's like, come on, man.
Right. The realness, though, is one of the things that makes your channel, another thing that makes your channel dope. Yep. Because, like, everybody ain't proper. Everybody's not polished and want to, you know what I mean? Perfect grammar and don't cuss and, praise the Lord every day. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, we need the realness is what we need. And I feel like with the way you come across real is what inspires a lot of people to do something, because there are those like he's just like me, or if I'm not like that, is my partner he like the homie down the street or whatever. You know what I mean? Type of deal.
Man, that's good to hear. That is 100% good to hear, because the way I talk, like it's just me talking to one of my partners out here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
If I had to give them the same information, I'd break it down the same exact way that I do on YouTube, because I know there's a lot of us out there. There's a lot of us.
Period.
The only time my voice changes is when my kids start opening up all the doors when I'm having an interview. Y'all go ahead. Seriously. Like everybody going outside at the same time right now, huh?
You can read them. I just want to read this one because I see it.
Yeah.
Cousin Journey said it'd be funny as hell. I guess I can put it on the screen. It can be easier. I'm blind. It'd be funny as hell sometimes on the real how they react. Period. Like
yeah.
Period.
I always encourage people to go to the comments and read some of the crazy shit, even like, you know, outside of the cool comments, but there's always the crazy ones. And I try to pin those, like the ones people talking crazy, I try to pin them to the top. One, being a troll myself, I like going back and forth with them just to egg them on, because I know it's actually really like they getting mad over this kind of shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I usually pin that comment and I go back and forth and egg them on a little bit more. But I want people to go back and read that, because there's a lot of people out there in the world that they want the information from us, right? As content creators like you guys. And when we start talking the way we talk and talking about certain things that it doesn't jive with them, or they don't understand the stuff we're saying, then their reaction is totally different. Then it's like, man, you're uneducated, you're this, you're that, but you came for the information and you was listening until you heard something that you didn't like.
Right.
And then the real comes out, you know what I mean? And that's when it starts to show in the comments. And for myself, man, I don't care about that. Like, there's people on the internet, like, you know, I'm used to like real life interactions. So the internet stuff to me doesn't bother me none. Period. But just to show like how dumb you are, I usually pin those comments to the top of the comments just to show.
So, with you speaking on that, you actually started a brand from them people a while back.
Yeah.
Talk about it.
I started the complaint department 100% just for that, was because of the constant complaining. And since I did that, a lot of the complaining stopped. And it was just because I met it head on. But there's a lot of people that hide in the comments, right? Talk a lot of shit and complain about what you're doing and how you're doing something. And when you bring it to light, then it's like, oh shit, like, wait a minute. I don't want to be just shown as some complainer and this and that. But at the same time, it was funny. It was just 100% funny to do something like that.
Yeah, man. They didn't want to that's hella funny. They didn't want to be featured. They didn't want to be the next feature.
You gave them the star treatment. You pinned them to the top. Hope Diller Flores 316 says, me and my son accomplished our first sales at Cinco de Mayo this weekend. We are inspired by Big Brfandoh video.
Oh yeah.
Congratulations.
Man, shout out to Hope Dealer Flores. That's dope, man.
Yeah, that first one's always a good feeling though.
It is. Boosted 1503. Your info definitely doesn't fall on deaf ears. It doesn't. Just like you said earlier, different product, same strategy. The knowledge spreads to others, works.
That's it, man. That's it. Shout out to Boosted, man. Yeah.
Custom Journey, that's so true. I've gotten so much info off this podcast. I'm pretty sure off of you as well.
Yeah. Like I was telling you guys, man, you guys started this podcast at the right time. I think our industry needed it. And when I say our industry, I'm not just talking t-shirts, but I'm talking like the t-shirt content creators. Mm-hmm. It's a handful of us out there, but at the same time, you guys started doing something when it was really needed. You know what I mean? And like I say, you guys connect with all the right people, man. When I saw Odyssey on here and when I start seeing a bunch of people that I just know and start seeing, I'm like, all right, these dudes are going out. You're not just going after like big channels. You guys are going to everybody in the space and sharing everybody's story and giving them the platform, man. I think it's dope, man.
Right on. And the thing is, man, it's a lot of it is I be stalking people, Brandoh.
Yeah.
I watch people's pages. I don't comment. I'll like the video, but I won't comment. I'll just watch and then be like, hey man, come on the show. Like,
yeah.
And it works that way because I feel like once I start commenting and those that do know who we are and what we do,
yeah,
when they start changing. So I just be quiet till it's time to approach, you know?
Yeah. And it's dope. And I think you guys do it the right way too. Like when you guys make the little clips for like TikTok and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. Oh man, you guys kill it, man. Right. So to me, like that just spreads the awareness. It spreads the awareness of the people you guys are interviewing, but also the t-shirt content creator. It's letting everybody know that there's people out here doing exactly what they want to be doing. You know what I mean? And that encourages them to start looking up like some of these creators you guys interview and just getting into the space. The more heat presses, the better to me. Like, like I come from the era where everybody hated the heat press, and I was out there just stranded by myself trying to back up the heat press. Now that I got some backup and there's a bunch of people out here making content, I don't feel so bad no more, man. those first 2 years on YouTube, man, were rough for me, man. But there was so much just hate to the heat press. Everybody hated it, man.
But you dropped so much gems, man. They had to face it though, like.
Yeah, and it's just kind of meeting them with the facts, and it was just trying to. The heat press has its space, you know what I mean. Now more than ever, but back then, man, it was a tough climb.
Yeah, man.
A tough climb.
I see a guy in the comments, Diz Majiz, man. We would love to hear you tell your story too, brother.
Oh man, you guys got to get Diz on here, man. That's I'll tell you this. That's been my the secret sauce for whenever I vend somewhere. Like I usually hit him up about ideas because that dude is like DIY to the fullest. Like he's making all of his own stuff, and anytime I have an issue or I'm trying to figure something out, I hit him up, anything vending related. And I keep forgetting because he's in New York, and I'm in Los Angeles, and sometimes the time difference is crazy. It might be 11 o'clock here, and I'm hitting him up, and he's sleeping. I'm like, hey, man, I'm trying to figure out this vending booth, man.
Yeah, that's how me and him are. He on the East Coast.
Yeah. Where are you at?
I'm in Oregon.
Oh, okay.
I live in Oregon. I'm from Seattle, man. That's how like the pro clubs and the all styles of American Apparel, man. That's all, that's what I grew up on.
Oh, yeah.
So that was another determining factor like for your channel too. Why me, man, that's where I'm from. That's how it is. That's why I'm in the whole nine. So I love this West Coast life, man.
It's crazy. There's a few people that were tagging me. There's a rapper that just did a documentary. I don't remember the dude's name, but he's from Los Angeles. And he walks through like a swap meet and he talks about when he was a kid buying pro clubs. Mm-hmm. So people were tagging me and asking me if I was doing the same thing. And I said, man, that's what I talk about in my, all my videos.
Period.
Pro Club isn't the best t-shirt around, but it's what everybody around here knows.
Yep.
So that's why I offer it. And I tell people this all the time, that you have to offer the t-shirts that your customers are used to wearing. Period. It's just to make the sale that much easier, right? If you can't be offering a Bella Canvas shirt to somebody that's used to wearing Pro Club, because those are two totally different shirts.
Yeah, two different.
Two different fits and feels and everything. You know what I mean? So I learned that the hard way, switching from Pro Club and trying to offer something I thought was high quality. And I went that route, and then I lost so many customers because they was like, what happened to the Pro Clubs? And I was like, man, I'm trying to offer you guys a quality feeling t-shirt. And they're like, man, quality to them is heavyweight. And I didn't understand that. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah. Don't nobody want that, them cotton softs.
Yeah.
Oregon, you in Vancouver.
Shout out to old man Still Can, man. What's happening?
Yeah, I'm originally from Seattle, man.
There you go.
Born and raised there. I've been out here a few years, but
oh yeah.
You spoke on the vending, and some years back, I watched you were on a bicycle and you were in a parking lot, actually circling for the best spot to set up a tent. Can you give us some gems on that, like as far as picking a venue or a vending spot?
Shit. That video that you're talking about, I used to sell t-shirts out of my trunk, right? And there's people that always say like, man, I sell out the trunk. Like I was really doing the shit, like, because I use the food truck strategy, right? So when those gourmet food trucks came out, they jumped on Twitter and they said, hey, we're going to be parked over here selling tacos, selling food. And they were just spreading it out to their following. So I said, oh shit, if they could do it, I could do it with t-shirts. So same thing, jumped on Instagram. I was like, hey, I'm going to post up right here selling these t-shirts. This is the parking lot I'm in. So people would come see my trunk popped up. I used to drive a Honda Pilot. I would have the back popped up with the totes in the back, and I would just be slinging t-shirts. And for myself, I would pick parking lots. I wasn't trying to use the foot traffic from the plaza or shopping center. I was just going based off of my own following. You know what I mean? I wasn't trying to sell stuff to like people walking by. I was out there for my actual following. They're coming out and buying from me. So some people do it. They'll try to sell shit out the trunk, and they'll be in the mall parking lot hitting up people trying to go to the mall, and security runs up on them and is like, hey, you can't be doing that shit.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to tell people there's little ways to do this, and there's common sense goes a long way. You know what I mean? And for a lot of people, they just do it for the pictures. So they'll pop the trunk and they got t-shirts and they get the flick, and then they leave. They didn't sell no t-shirts. They just wanted to show I'm selling it out the trunk.
Right.
And for myself, it ain't even about that. It's just, if you're out there trying to make money, at least if you go home with $40, it's a successful day.
Period.
You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if you sold 400 or 40. And a lot of guys have a hard time selling in person. And these are the questions that I get in my DMs is, how'd you sell in person? One, you got to have a design that somebody wants already.
Period.
It's a cold sell if you got your brand name on the shirt and you out there in the public trying to sell it. Nobody's checking for it.
So
Nobody cares about it.
Let me stop you right there. Can you put emphasis on this? People with these brand new brands putting their brand names on these t-shirts and thinking that the world is just going to accept it.
Yeah, that's a hard pill to swallow, right? Because everybody that starts out wants their brand name to be out there because they follow the big established brands, and they're doing it already. But they forget that those established brands had hard times too when they were starting out. You know what I mean? And for me, I preach making the sell easy. And if you try to sell your logo t-shirt, that's not easy. That is the hardest shit to do for anybody. And even some established brands have a hard time selling their logo tees because sometimes people are not checking for that shit. For myself, I usually try to go with designs that relate to somebody. And sometimes I don't even put branding on the shirt. I don't use the back of the neck to put my branding. I don't put the logo on anything. Sometimes I don't even change out the tags, man. It's because people are buying it for the design and not necessarily for the brand name. And like I said, it's a hard pill to swallow because somebody starting out, that's all they're focused on is their logo. Maybe they paid a graphic designer to come up with that logo, that brand name, and they want to put it on everything, and then nothing sells, and they think it's a failure. And it's not necessarily a failure. It's just wrong marketing. You know what I mean? And they just need to take a step back and reevaluate some of their designs and maybe shrink the logo, put it on the back, and then put something relatable on the front. That part people don't get, though. It's almost like if I'm telling them to do the wrong thing, that's how they take it, you know? And I can only speak from experience. And the moment I took my brand names and logos off my shirts is when I started making money. Because it wasn't all about the brand. It was just about getting the designs out to build up I needed to build up an audience before I can actually get them excited about my brand name, right? The way to do that was I was just selling like designs that were relatable. I talk about this all the time. I sell city t-shirts, like t-shirts with the city name on it. Because so many people are proud to be where they're from, and that's going to drive the traffic, right? That's going to get people's attention and be like, hey, who's that selling this Gardena t-shirt or this Oregon t-shirt or wherever you're from? And then it's getting them to come to your site. And at that point, your design's got to help sell the rest, right? Now they're on your site. Now they're looking at everything, and it's up to them what they want to buy. But you got to be able to drive the people to your store first. So by making relatable shit, that's what drives the people to your online store. To if you're selling in a parking lot or if you're vending out at an event, that's where people are going to start getting excited about your shit because they're going to be like, hey, you know what? I seen that shirt that relates to me, or it's in that colorway that I like, or it's has a city that I'm from. And or it also helps when somebody moves away from the city and they want to wear some shit that reps where they come from. And some people think you got to do the whole brand around that shit, and you don't. It's just getting the people excited about something and relatable. And once you get them in the door, bam, then you hit them with every other design. You know what I mean? But it's just driving the traffic. Driving the traffic is hard for a lot of people.
Hey, Big Brando, I got a personal question for you,
Yeah.
man. Because you are the brand man. and you do create brands and
he gonna bring this up again. No, he's the perfect person to ask about.
No. This is a personal question. Now, can I ask my personal question? All right. Can a person run a brand and a custom at the same time?
Can they run a brand and run a custom business at the same time?
Yeah.
Yes.
We talk it. Is it somebody brand new that's just starting out, or somebody established that's been doing it for a while?
So I do custom.
I'll say like this. I'll answer it both ways. If somebody's just starting out, it's very hard to run a brand and a custom business at the same time because your energy is spread out to two totally different spaces, right? But let's say you started just selling stuff, custom shirts, banging them out, and you got decent clientele. Then you could use that money that you were making from the custom stuff to fund the brand. Now you can start working on the brand because now you got your workflow down. You know the process. You know what's selling. You know what's not selling. Then you can actually run both at the same exact time. But I think it takes somebody that's kind of got the reps in already. Somebody just starting out, that's a hard one because I deal with a lot of people that are just starting out, right? And these are the questions they have. And they want to do like 5 different businesses in one, but they haven't did one yet. They haven't even started one yet. And then, you know, when you have a million ideas, you're trying to focus on all those million ideas and you're not giving everything the correct attention that it needs. And it just fails, man. And I would hate for somebody to go that route and try to run both because they hear somebody like myself or any of these other content creators that do both and think it's easy because it's really not. It's just, I learned my process. That's the only thing that I have the upper hand on everybody else is I understand my process. I understand what it takes to make these shirts. And that's it. Once everybody else figures out their process, it's a done deal. You do whatever you want.
That was the best answer I've heard since I've been asking this question. Everybody else, but that was the best answer I've heard thus far.
That shit gets hard though. Like, I'll tell you this, man, like running a brand or running multiple brands, doing custom, like one-off stuff for people, and then also operating as like a contract print shop. That shit gets, because those are 3 totally different businesses. They all have to do with t-shirts, but it's 3 totally different businesses. The way you market those businesses are different. The designs you're selling are different. Sometimes the print technology that you're using is different. Print method changes all the time with that kind of stuff. So it's not for the faint of heart, man, because there's times like me and one of my partners will be in here and we're knocking out like 3 different things at the same exact time. And it gets confusing, man. It gets confusing. So it could be done, but yeah, man, I think if you're just starting out, focus on one thing. Yeah.
And I'm still gonna take my win on that though, but
ain't no win.
I'm still take my win on that, man. But that was he put it perfectly. He put that in. This is the debate that's been going on for the last 4 episodes.
Yeah.
You had a perfect answer, but I'm still gonna take my win on that. So speaking, man, of running multiple brands.
Yeah.
How many brands do you currently run, and what's the most you've ran at one time, and how the hell do you do it?
Right now, I'm only doing 3. The most I've done was 7 at one time. That was crazy. But you guys got to remember, I don't promote none of this shit on YouTube.
I know.
So there's no customers for my brands that come from YouTube. There's absolutely nobody that watches my channel that buys t-shirts from my brands. I don't put my face behind those brands. I never talk about them. And it's all just through its own target audience, right? There's a certain area of people that enjoy those brands, and I just feed them, and that's it. My hunger comes from that starting stage. I like starting the brand, finding the customers, finding the designs that I like, going into a different space. Like, I give this example all the time, and I talk about like people that ride scooters, right? And I don't know nothing about riding scooters, but I would love to figure out a way to sell shirts to people that ride scooters.
Yeah.
That to me is the challenge, but also self-rewarding when you figure that shit out. Because I feel like I don't know shit about scooters. I've never even been on a scooter. I don't know nothing about it. But if I could come in and get comfortable with these guys and be able to sell them stuff, then it's mission accomplished on my end, right? And that's where most of my brands start from, is just that. There's some weird concept behind it. I see a little void in somewhere that I can make some money, or it might be somebody's already selling shirts in that space and I feel I could design something better. Then I go and then I just start knocking it down. You know what I mean? But I like that challenge of trying to figure out if the design will sell and who can I sell it to and who can I design for.
Period.
Yeah.
So, what are some of the, when you start a new brand, what are some of the steps you take to figure out your target audience?
Oh, the very first thing I do is I look for the group that I want to sell to, and I find out where they live. Not personally where they live, but on social media, what are they talking about? Where are they hanging out at? Where, like, what's the popular pages in that space? And then I just get to work, man. And like you were saying, like you be stalking people. I do the same exact thing, man. I stalk my customers all day long because I need to know what they're into. I need to know their interests. I need to know if they're already buying something similar to what I want to sell.
Right.
So I jump into that thing and I'll figure out all the popular hashtags. I try to like figure out the lingo. Like if there's some kind of weird inside joke, I need to figure out what that inside joke is, because sometimes I could capitalize on that and make money off that inside joke. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Screen printer Mike.
Hey, screen printer Mike is dope, man. Shout out to that dude, man.
Shout out.
Yeah, hey, he just did create, help me with fix a logo.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mike, man. Appreciate you, brother.
Hey, out of everybody that makes videos, and I tell screen printer Mike this all the time, his videos and his audio are so polished and clean.
Yes.
Where that dude talks super mellow, and I'm like, man, this guy, like the information is coming through the screen right now. Yeah.
We've interviewed him twice, and we haven't even scratched the surface, man. I swear.
Yeah.
Screen printer Mike, we come back for you. I'm pointing this time. Screen printer Mike.
Back.
That's right.
Yeah, man. He said, "Love you all, man. We love you back, brother."
Yeah, screen printer Mike. Man.
So while we got this little pause, Mike, you want to go read a few of them comments?
That'll work.
I keep asking you to read them because my eyes is blind, bro.
Samoan Island Curl, selling based on your own following. That's brilliant. That alone is worth $1,000.
That's right.
Yeah. Art department, love the way he gives others shout out on his channel. Greatly appreciate.
Yeah, hey man, for me, it's never about like me on my channel. It's always about who's sharing information and who's pushing the whole creative space forward. You know what I mean? Sure. And if we're talking about anybody that's just in the t-shirt space, if one of your videos comes across my TikTok or my Instagram just by chance, and I watch it and you're sharing some like dope information, I throw it in my notes and I'm like, hey, next video I make, I got to let people know about this dude because this dude's sharing this kind of information. You know what I mean? And it's always because that information speaks to me. So if it speaks to me, it'll speak to somebody else. And maybe that person doesn't have a big channel and they just need that extra push. Like there's a dude named Nico Prince. He's out in Florida. That dude, like when I would see his stuff and then see what he's talking about, and he's giving the good and bad of stuff he's using, that information is super valuable, man. MM Customs, what's happening?
Barb.
Yeah.
Barb? Or is that
another? Thank you, Samoan Island Curl. Appreciate you. Said he just subscribed. Appreciate you.
Oh yeah.
There was a question a while back, and I'm sorry, y'all. This is a lot of comments going on. We brought out a super tonight, so I can't.
Definitely.
But the questions, one of the questions was DTF and screen print transfers. Is that the same stuff or is it different?
To me, it's different. To me, it's different, and it's based on feel, it's print quality, stuff like that. So I always use Supercolor and DTF. Everybody thinks it's the same thing, but it's a little bit different, right? Supercolor isn't 100% digital output, whereas DTF is 100% digital output. Supercolor still screen prints their transfers. So to me, that's always the quality, durability, and stuff like that. Recently, I've been saying this in my videos is I compare all the transfers I use to screen printing, like traditional screen printing. So whenever I test stuff out, wash tests, field test, like how like a certain hand that something has, I always compare it to traditional screen printing because that's what I'm used to getting done and doing myself. But a lot of people got into t-shirts based off of vinyl, and they don't know too much about screen printing, so they base their comparisons off of vinyl only. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? Like if you're comparing vinyl to DTF, yeah, like now you could do multicolors. Obviously, that's a good transition for you. But for myself, every transfer that I use, I compare it to traditional screen printing. And then the companies that I choose to work with and use are because they held up in my testing and stuff like that. And sometimes, you know, there's companies out there that I don't use, and not for nothing. It's just they didn't work out for me, but it doesn't mean it's a bad transfer. It doesn't mean that it's bad to use or pricing's bad or anything. It just doesn't work for me. And people get really mad in the comments, and they're like, how come you don't talk about this transfer company or this DTF company? And I test out a lot of them. If they don't work for me, I'm not in the business to bash another company. It just didn't work for me, so I'd rather not talk about it. You know what I mean? And a lot of the stuff, you know, as a content creator, I get it now. A lot of people think everything is driven because companies are paying us to do shit. And the thing I tell everybody is Pro Clubs never paid me a dime. All Styles never paid me a dime. They don't even know I exist. AS Color don't pay me shit. And I talk about these blank t-shirts since I started YouTube. I've never got a cent from them. So it's not driven by money or a company paying me. It's just sharing what works for me. That's it, right? So if All Style t-shirts work for me and that's what I was using, you know, I'd look like an asshole if every time I put a t-shirt on there, I'm covering the tag. And I'm like, I'm not going to tell you guys what blank shirt I'm using. You know what I mean? You guys figure it out yourself. Or I'm telling you, hey, I'm using All Style. And I use it because my customers love it. And it's not because it's the best shirt in the world. It's because my customers love that shit. And that's what I'm offering them, right? Same thing with Pro Club. And a lot of people think I only talk about Supercolor and Transfer Express because I got affiliate accounts with them. But also when I was doing the list, I had 5-6 different companies in there that wasn't paying me shit.
Right.
I was still sharing the information. You know what I mean? And when I was doing the sample packs, I had FM transfers in the sample pack. And FM don't fuck with me. They never reached out to work with me. But I was using them at the time, so that's why I was sharing that information, right? But if you only compare DTF to vinyl, DTF is an all-day win. But if you've used other screen printed transfers and you have something else to compare it to, you'll understand that DTF has a little bit of limitation. You know what I mean? But it also comes down to how much you're ordering. Like we're talking earlier, like if you're just ordering small amounts, ain't nothing wrong with DTF. But if you want to order large quantities, it's better to trust the dudes with the big printers that can put it out in a day or two instead of bogging down somebody else's machine trying to run, 100 transfers off of there. And it's going to take them like a week to get out.
Right.
Not all DTF is treated equal though, neither too. So that's another thing.
That too, man, because I've tried some DTF, like those Instagram ads get me all the time. And at first, earlier in the year, there's a few. Now I get a million different ads from a million different DTF companies. I can't try them all. But earlier in the year, I tried a few and I couldn't lay them down or they weren't meeting my quality standards. So I just never went forward and used them, right? And if they did, shit, I would have been using them and telling people about them. But it's some of them just don't work for me. And it's like I said, it's not a knock on the transfer company. It just doesn't work for me.
Hey, yeah, man. So you mentioned your testing.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what you do to test these products? Because it is well known that you only promote products that you actually use in your day-to-day life, your day-to-day business. What are the tests you run?
So I always screen print a t-shirt, like whatever design it is, I'll screen print one, and then I'll get transfers made for the same exact design, and then I'll wash them at the same exact time. Machine wash, machine dry. You could put care instructions on the tag, but your customers ain't going to listen to that shit. You got to know how it's going to hold up, right? So I'll machine wash, machine dry 20, 30, 40 times. Anytime somebody's doing laundry in my house, that shirt sitting on top of the dryer goes right back into the washing machine anytime somebody's doing it. And that way I know, all right, if a customer machine wash, machine dry on hot, whatever they have, whatever settings. I know it's going to hold up because I did it myself for multiple runs just to make sure that it lays down. The other one that I do is whenever I test out a new transfer company, I'll take the sample transfer that they give me and I cut it up into a bunch of little pieces, and then I press it at different settings. So if they recommend 300 degrees for 10 seconds, I'll press a little piece at 3 for 10, then I'll go 305 for 10, 310 for 10, and then so on. And then on the back of the shirt, I go cooler, right? 300, then I'll go to 295, 290. Nobody likes doing that test because that shit takes fucking forever.
Yeah.
But I need to know what's the best settings for myself with that transfer. So when I'm in production, I know exactly what's going to lay down and how it's going to hold up. You know what I mean? And that same test transfer sheet or shirt, that's going in the wash too. Machine wash, machine dry, machine wash, machine dry. Until I start to see shit peel up or I see some kind of discoloration, then I'll be like, all right, that setting's not for me, or this setting is the winner. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
But this is the testing that it's not glamorous. Like nobody wants to do that shit. I don't even like doing it. You know what I mean? But I know it needs to be done. And when I tell people that's how they should test their stuff, like, man, that's going to take forever. It does take forever. But if you want to know, you got to do it. Because it sucks if you just listen to me and say, hey, this transfer works. And then you get the transfer and you don't apply it correctly and then it falls off. You're like, man, Big Brandoh's a liar. That shit, those transfers suck. And I'm like, it's not the transfer, it's the operator.
Yeah, I know it's right. And yes, this live will still be up. Squad Creative Podcast, all the channels.
Yeah.
Right, while you're there, we do this every week. Tell a friend to tell a friend about it. But yeah, like I was thinking, because when you do you press, like it might call for 320, but your press might be at 321, 318, or whatever the case may be.
Yep.
For those that don't know, why those specific numbers? You know what I mean?
It all depends. It could be the humidity in your room. Your press could be calibrated differently than somebody else's press. Your press might take a longer time to heat up than somebody else's, and we might have the same brand of press.
Right.
And it's just the way that the shit works, right? Your t-shirts might retain a little bit more moisture than mine does, right? It could be a lot of different factors that cause things to be a little different. So when I tell people to test out the settings and go based on what the company actually recommends, and then you make the adjustments, it's because that's what worked in their shop to lay those transfers down. That's what worked for them. Now, when you get the transfers and the t-shirts in your own shop and the humidity is different, your press is different, t-shirts are different. Now you got to figure out what works for you. And like I said, that's the part that nobody wants to do, man, because the testing part, there ain't no money in testing, right? You want to print the shirt, sell the shirt. But I need to know how that shirt's going to hold up once it's in the customer's hands.
Right.
To me, that's the biggest thing, because I need that customer to come back and keep ordering from me. If the print falls off after 3 washes, they're not going to come back. You know what I mean? So I need to make sure that that thing's going out and it's going to last and outlive the shirt that it's pressed on.
Yeah, man.
I remember when he asked about the test, I was hung up on something that somebody had did with Super Color. It was actually SC shirts and hoodies. And I kept saying, I'm going to make another video dragging the actual Super Color image with the brick on top of the shirt to see if it
See, the thing with that is, man, ain't nobody about to just go take that t-shirt and just drag it. Cool.
Hey, you photo out, you never know. What if they run into a brick wall?
Yeah, they better hope, whatever they do, they better hope they ain't in it when it happened. You want to read some more of these comments, man? They coming in by the bundles.
Hey, Seak, I got a question for you, man.
Yeah, what's that?
What's 12 gone mean?
It was a rough time in my life, man. You know, you like the third person that's ever asked me, second or third person that's ever asked me that. It was just a rough patch in my life. So when I look back at that part of my life, man, I look back at that part of my life, 12 gone is just that reminder for me to keep looking forward, keep pushing.
Yeah.
It's motivation for myself.
100%.
I think you're the second, maybe third person that's ever asked me that question.
Yeah.
Just trying to.
Sir Andy, Big Brandoh's videos helped me open a DBA and started a brand. Love you, Brandoh.
Yeah, man.
That's dope, man. See, that's what I mean. People using the information, man.
I got my first DVA because of Big Brando myself.
There you go, man.
Samoan Island Curl. Appreciate you. It's up to the show. This is the educated natural that I was telling you about, Big Brando, earlier.
Is this about the StreamYard stuff?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I'm about to tap in.
StreamYard, trademark, all the trademark laws and all the stuff. She's the truth.
That's dope.
She's the truth with that.
Right, Beats, I've been seeing you on my feed, Screen Printer Mike. Been wanting to subscribe.
Yeah, Screen Printer Mike, man, that brother got information, man.
G6 Customs, Tom and Linda, what's happening, man? It's dope to see everybody jumping on this thing. Appreciate it.
KC, this and that. Big B, always keeping it real, giving much needed advice and much appreciated, brother. I might have.
Oh, yeah. KC, this and that. That's right.
Elena T.
Time I'm making this interview. Oh, yeah.
What's going on?
Hey, man. When I seen Ride Beats thing, I was like, man, I got to reach out to Mike and Seak, man. That was it was long overdue, and they've been hitting me for a long time since they started this thing, man. So the reason why I jumped on early with them was I've been meaning to do this for a very long time.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming out, man. But see, like this interview, I ain't shooting down nobody we've ever done or none of that stuff. Don't get me wrong. But this is that interview. This is like we didn't arrive right here, man. And the reason why I say that is because Big Brandoh don't do this shit. You know, he's not an internet or like, you know. So for him to come out, man, this is real serious business right here, man. Humbling business right here. So, but just for the future, I'm gonna be braggadocious right here though. Be moving on, man. Remember we did this though.
I remember we did this. I gotta give credit to Leon. I don't know how to pronounce your last name. I'm not about to butcher it, but he was the one that had asked the question. Hey guys, maybe you do know this, the DTF powder, the plastisol, that whole question that you had answered earlier. Oh,
DTF powder and plastisol transfer powder.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the same shit or not. I've pressed DTF transfers where you could still see the powder and feel the powder on the back. And then I've pressed some DTF transfers that it's just like, it looks like glue on the back where it's like clear.
Yeah.
And then I've done plastisol transfers that had powder and no powder also. So all of that stuff, when it comes to making the transfers, I don't know too much shit about it. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm not sure if it's the same powder or not, but I would imagine so. The only people that I know that figured out something different than anybody else is Transfer Express. They figured out some way to mix the adhesive powder with the ink. So they're like, you never get that like a little glue line around any of the like hot split transfers. And I think it's the Ultra Color Max. You don't never get that little glue line around it because they figured out a way to put it in the ink, or I don't know what it is. But and if I knew the secret, I'm pretty sure they wouldn't tell me the secret. But however they do it, that's why I fuck with that hot split transfer, because it lays down. It's super, like, it's very, very soft to the touch. And to me, that's the closest thing feeling to actual traditional screen printing.
Yeah, man.
I used to mess with the FM vintage transfer for that same thing, but they use adhesive on the back. And sometimes I was getting like ghosting and glue lines on there. And for whatever reason, Transfer Express figured the shit out, man. And that's why I rock with them. You know,
prints too. It's that white border or white chalk around the image.
Yeah.
I saw a question a while back from Ride Beats, man. It's way, way up there though. But he had asked, "What's in the lineup for 2023 for Big Brando?"
Oh, for me, I'm gonna do a bunch of stuff for the YouTube channel, like T-shirts and shit like that. That's one thing that I suck at when it comes to YouTube and merch is people come to the channel like, hey, we want to buy some of your shirts. And I always tell people, like, you're not my customer. Like, I'm trying to teach you to do it for yourself so you don't have to buy nothing from me and you make your own shit.
Right.
But I understand there's a lot of people that want to support, and there's a lot of people that you know want designs and stuff like that. So I'm working on a bunch of shit now to put up on the Big Brfandoh website just for the YouTube audience. If they wanted to support and buy a t-shirt. I don't even wear my own t-shirts. Like, I'm wearing Born and Raised. You guys never see me wear my own t-shirts on video because to me it's whatever. I'm usually wearing just a black t-shirt or somebody else's shirt.
Yeah.
But I'm working on putting out a bunch of designs for the people. Podcasting also. I'm not taking away nothing from you guys, but what I'm going to be doing is getting other people that are business owners and not necessarily just t-shirt creators. But what we're doing is we're talking about their mistakes only and not the success. Because when people get on podcasts, they only glamorize the success, right? I make $1 million and I do this and blah, 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 and check out my Rolex. But I like learning from people's mistakes. So the people that have come in here and interviewed, it's just hearing some of the downfalls and how they overcame them, but mostly focusing on the mistakes only. That way, people could hear it and be like, oh shit, I ain't gonna do the same thing that dude did.
Absolutely.
Like, it's dudes that run barbershops, tattoo shops, car detail businesses. It's a lot of stuff outside of the t-shirt world. And I got a few brand owners jumping on too, but I was supposed to do it last year. And then some of the conversations got a little too crazy for YouTube. So I never had a chance to put them out. So I got to figure out a way. My interview skills ain't the best. So I got to figure out a way to drive the conversation away from the crazy talk. That's the part that I struggle with when I'm interviewing people. And I got a lot of faults when it comes to interviewing because I talk over people and I'm trying to get my opinion in. I got to understand how it works back and forth.
It's a
podcast. So I'm taking notes from you guys, man.
It's a podcast. It's supposed to happen. It's organic. If it don't happen, it looks staged to me.
Yeah, because some of the shit that some guys were saying, it could get them in trouble. It could get them in trouble, and they don't understand because the guys I'm interviewing don't even know I have a YouTube channel, so they don't know shit about Big Brfandoh or nothing like that. So they don't know what my audience is like. So I'm like, man, I would hate to jeopardize whatever you got going on by putting out your information like this. Even though you said it speaking to me on camera, but still some of the shit could be incriminating, man.
Gotta be careful. Peace out, Rod. We see you on the next one. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, Rod.
So Brandoh, let me ask you, man, why is it you don't utilize your platform for sales?
To sell shirts? Because I'm in the business to teach people how to do it themselves. Right? If I was in the business to just sell t-shirts to my following, I would feel like I would lose a lot of the viewership that I've gained over the years, because then it just comes out as a sales pitch and not necessarily, helping the people. So I'm trying to put the people first all the time when it comes to the YouTube channel. And I'm pretty sure you guys experience this too with creating content, but anytime I put up a TikTok of me pressing shirts, teaching people how to press shirts, the comments are filled with, hey, can you print my shirts for me? And I'm trying to tell them, like, I'm trying to teach you so you could do this yourself, so you don't have to pay somebody like me. You could do it yourself and make your own money. And there's some people that aren't interested. They just want their shirts printed. And I get that part. But for me, the people should always come first, because that's like, I started this to try to help people out, not to try to make money off of people. You know what I mean? I make money selling t-shirts outside of YouTube, and I'd rather just keep it that way than trying to bring that over here and be like, hey, you guys should buy all of these t-shirts that I'm making because I'm releasing shirts like every 2 weeks. That's going to look crazy on my YouTube channel if I'm like, hey, I got this new shirt out, guys, you want to buy it? Like, that would be crazy to me, man. And that's just a personal thing for myself, and I know I'm leaving a lot of money on the table by doing that, but at the same time, like, it's not about selling to the community. It's just helping the community out so they could do it for themselves. And and it's not a knock on anybody that sells t-shirts through their YouTube channel. It's just not for me.
I need that LA hat. I've been trying to get that hat forever,
I got you, man.
I need that LA hat.
I got you.
Mistakes is where the mastery happens. That's from Elena T.
Oh yeah. I learned through everybody's mistakes, and I learned through my own mistakes all the time. That's why I think it's very beneficial to have on YouTube, because a lot of people don't share that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I try to say I make the mistakes so you don't have to. I do a lot of layering. But Dave McLean, clothing brand, asks at Big Brfandoh, do you get DBAs for each brand, or you manage them under one company?
That's a hard one to answer. It's all about how you structure your business. So if you structure your business for like an umbrella business where you could operate multiple things underneath it, you could do it that way. I hate telling people exactly what I do because it's unique to myself and not to anybody else. You know what I mean? So if I said, hey, I run everything under an umbrella company, then everybody's going to think, oh shit, that's what I got to do. But they got to understand that, like we're talking before, like I offer consultation. So I do a consulting service. I do graphic design also. There's different parts of my business that don't make sense to somebody else, but it's kind of unique to what I do. So to give that kind of information and be like, yeah, you know what, you should get a DBA for every brand that you do or operate under one thing. It's going to be based on how you want to operate and how you structure your own business. I would say don't mirror your business based on somebody else's, because sometimes you don't know what else they got going on under that umbrella company that's really funding them. You know what I mean? Some guys start DBAs just for the tax benefits, and that's it. You know what I mean? So they can itemize stuff on their taxes. But some guys are operating different businesses and brands under different DBAs because they have different businesses that need to stay separate entities. For myself, I don't like sharing what I do business-wise, because I would hate for somebody to mirror what they're doing based on me, and they don't even do half the stuff that I do. Then it wouldn't make any sense to them. And then, you know, jam somebody up. That's the whole thing is, as content creators, and you guys understand this too, is we have a responsibility for the information that we share.
Period.
Some people take what we say and run with it, you know what I mean? Without even thinking about, is this going to be good for me? It's just, hey, this is what he's doing, I'm going to do the same shit.
Yeah.
We have no control over that, but we do have control over the information that we share. So I try to, without sounding like an asshole, I usually just try to like get people to structure their business to what they see fits for them and what's comfortable and just makes sense for them. I know people want to do the same thing that I do, and I get it, but they don't understand that there's certain things in my business that I do that's not shown on YouTube. You know what I mean? And it's like that for a certain reason, but a lot of people don't understand that. You know what I mean? Custom Journeys, appreciate you, man. Hood Hippies, that's a dope name. Every time I read people's YouTube names, man, that should be killing me.
I like that, Hood Hippies.
Yeah.
Custom Journey asks, how do you manage your time and work, content creation, and running your business?
For me, everything is a little different, but YouTube always takes the back seat. I say this a lot. I only take one Sunday or maybe 2 Sundays out of the month, and I record a shitload of videos. So when you watch my videos, I'm wearing the same shirt in like 8 videos. It's because I recorded 8 videos that day. So that's usually how I operate. And that's why a lot of times I don't set the camera up when I'm pressing shirts, is because when I'm here pressing shirts, the tripod gets in the way. Like we're moving around and we're pressing. I don't have time to press record and then press some shirts, talk to the camera. I'm just trying to get some orders out. So a lot of the times I take a Sunday, I'm here fulfilling orders. And when I get a break, then I come over here, make some videos and just try to knock down as many as I can. And a lot of my content is driven by the comments. When people ask questions in the comments, I take that and I think it's a good one that I haven't made a video on in a while. Then I'll bang a video out and answer those questions that people leave. So that's why I always ask people to leave it in the comments, because that's helping me create the content. If you want to know something, let me try to answer it in a video, because it's going to help more than just one person.
Right.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like juggling family time and work and all that shit, schedule yourself 2 hours or 1 hour, but 2 hours. Whether it's creating designs, whether it's pressing shirts, fulfilling orders, marketing, as long as you can schedule yourself 2 hours, you're good to go, because you got to treat it like your day job. If your day job says come to work 8 to 5, you're there 8 to 5. Do the same thing for your business. Schedule yourself 2 hours and it'll grow after that. But 2 hours seems like not enough time, but it's actually a lot of time once you sit down and get into the groove of shit.
Yeah, definitely. So.
Yeah. Hey, Mike, you was talking about you was at the shop. Do you run a custom print shop, or is that what you do?
So I'm in one location, but 2 locations. So it's kind of hard to explain. I'm in one location where it's a discount outlet store, and that's where I do all the customs at. I'm normally there. A lot of my time is spent there.
Yeah.
However, I don't have every machine at my disposal. So I'll run through the Spirit of Stark, which is in Masson, which is another city 20 minutes over. So between there and here and my house, I'm making content when I can. I'm knocking out orders where I can. I have a setup literally everywhere. My dad's house,
Yeah.
my house. It got to the point where my wife was like, "Hey, look, man, you got to choose. What's going on? You took over the living room. You got a whole store over there. You be going up there. Why is there machines and everywhere we go?" I'm like, I gotta be ready.
That's right. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But
man.
4 years, this is my 4th year.
Oh damn. Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, for myself, like I operate the same way like you. Like we got all these little multiple, like little mini shops. I call them mini shops because we're just plugging heat presses in. But they serve different purposes, right? Like the spot that I'm in now, we're trying to open it up to be more like not a retail spot, but where people could come in and get custom work done, because we can't offer that at our other shops, because our other shops are where we do a lot of contract printing, and those presses are just running based on, 400, 500 piece orders coming in. Yeah. And then the other spot that we're at only does fulfillment for local brands. And then some of the dudes that run the presses in there, they have their own brands that they bang out of there too. So I figured out a way to do fulfillment for local people using transfers and stuff like that, like stocking their transfers, and then as orders come in, bang them out, and then do all the shipping and handling and everything for them. But I just find like these small little office areas to put presses in, because all we need to do is just plug in a press and a computer, right? We can knock all this shit out. It's mainly just t-shirt storage at that point.
So how many businesses do you actually run?
Oh shit, there's a few, man. Maybe 6 or 7, like actually hands-on running.
Hell yeah.
Like, man, car detail stuff. I do a lot of outside of what you see on YouTube. There's like a lot of shit that I have my hand in just to try it out. If it works, it works. If I'm not scared to fail. That's what it is. Man, if I go all in on something and it doesn't like pan out, I'm like, fuck it, let's try something else. A lot of people have that failure, that weighs heavy on them. So they go into something and it doesn't work out, and it crushes their dreams. And then they're like, I'm going back to working my day job or something. For me, it's like if one business don't work out, I'm like, fuck it, let's try something else. Or if that didn't work, let's just let's make a little minor correction here, and then we won't do what failed last time. Just keep going, man. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Fear is really a learned behavior, because if you think about how we live as children, we're going to go jump out a tree and try to catch a bee with our hand and play with worms, but we ain't doing that as adults. You know what I mean? So it's definitely a learned behavior, man.
It is.
And it's society, man. Society pumps these fears in us. And just hearing that, like, I'm not afraid of failure. That's a powerful statement in itself.
You know what? A lot of people, like the business gurus and the big influencers in the business space, they always talk like that crazy shit that you got to be your own boss and all that, right?
Right.
Some people aren't cut out for that, but social media tells them that they have to be, right?
Right.
So now you got these people trying to start businesses who aren't even good at being their own boss. And failing all over the place and wasting resources and money and doing all this stuff because they're trying to keep up with what somebody told them they should be doing. Mm-hmm. Like I got a bunch of homies that are just hard workers. Like they're like really good hard workers, but they're not cut out to run their own business. So I don't push it on them. But at the same exact time, when they come to me with an idea, I have no problem giving them the blues and just telling them exactly what I think. Like, I don't think you're cut out for this business, but I do think if somebody ran that business, you would be the guy that I'd hire to get the shit done, because I know you're going to get it done the right way.
Right.
And that to me is the hard truth, but at the same exact time, it's like tough love. But I'm also saving them from wasting a shitload of money and wasting time and really fucking themselves up trying to start this business and get it off the ground. For me, like I don't mind taking the risk and it not panning out. And I don't care about, somebody saying like, damn, your shit failed, because next week I'll probably start something else. and I just keep it moving. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I think as business owners, you just got to be a risk taker, man.
Yeah. There's a million people out here selling courses, right? So I just want to take on these courses out here. How do you feel about it? Tell us something about it. Let us know.
For myself, I'll tell you like this, man. People approach me all the time and say, "Hey, man, you should do a master class. You should do a course. You should do this shit." For me, I'd rather the people just get it for free on YouTube, 100%. I get that the courses are a little bit more hands-on, and I get that the course is a little bit more detailed, and some people learn that way. But for myself, it's not for me, and it's probably not for my following either, because I'm trying to tell these guys to save money, and I hate hey, you got to invest in yourself. Fuck that. Like, invest in yourself shouldn't come with a price tag, man. Investing in yourself should just be common sense in your head. I would hate for people to go broke trying to get rich, and that's like the worst thing for me is somebody watching and like, hey, I just went to this course and they told me to do this, this, and this, but they're second guessing it now, right? Because they're coming to my channel seeing me do something a little different. And they're like, hey, I just paid $250 for this course and they told me to do this, this, and this. I don't know if I should do it. I'm like, you spent the money on it, might as well see it through. Yeah. You know what I mean? Whether it's a good idea or a bad idea, at that point, you're already all in, man. If you're spending money on a course to learn some shit, put it to use before you second guess yourself. You know what I mean?
Right.
But as a content creator himself, I don't see myself selling any courses or pushing that type of agenda on anybody. And like I said, I'm probably leaving a lot of money on the table, man, but I can't do it.
It's crazy.
What did unemployed fitter say? The unemployed fitter.
My press just showed up. I used your link to buy it, but your link is busted. But I ordered it in your window, if that makes sense. Not sure who she's talking or that person's talking to.
I don't know. Maybe my links are messed up, man. A lot of the affiliates that I work with, they check my links all the time. Like, hey, that link don't work. You got to fix it. But I rarely get around to doing it. Yeah. So I got some of the affiliate people hitting me up all the time. So that's probably towards me saying my links didn't work. And that's me again, leaving a bunch of money on the table, man. I could be making affiliate money and I'm not even paying attention to my shit, man.
Yeah.
I told Jared from Heat Press Nation this, man. I'm like the worst YouTuber because I don't do a lot of the standard shit that I'm supposed to be doing as a influencer content creator. And I know it only hurts me, but at the same exact time, man, I'm confused like everybody else, man. This shit is overwhelming, man.
But you like you say, you leaving money on the table, man. But just hearing your story, you get your blessings in a whole bunch of other places, you know? So.
Yeah. You know what? And like I said, the guys that do YouTube full time, my hat's off to them because this is a full-time job in itself, man.
For sure.
I'm just not cut out for the shit. You know what I mean? Like I'm cut out for design. Ain't no way I could be full-time in this shit, man. I feel weird pulling out my phone and recording shit just in general, man. Like there's no way I could be out in the world with a camera in my face talking to you guys. I got to do it from the comfort of a enclosed space, man.
The thing it's crazy to hear because the last time I looked at your subscriber count, you was at 110,000. Man, just to hear you not like to hear you not accept it. I don't know if that's the word I want to use, but to not accept the fact that, man, you the truth, man.
Yeah.
110,000.
Hey, man, I got that shit by luck, man, because like I said, I'm the worst YouTuber out here doing this shit. I can't get around to there's so much that goes in, it's involved on the back end, right? Like all the affiliate stuff and getting all that stuff set up. And then also, like I don't do the paid videos, the paid promotion videos.
Right.
I don't do any of those. One, because I don't like people telling me what I got to do and what I can't do. Right. But then two, it's to me, it feels disingenuous on my channel to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So that's one of the biggest reasons why I don't do too much paid promotion, and I turned down a lot of that shit. And like I said, I turned down a lot of that money And people understand the attention around my channel, and I understand there's a lot of attention on my channel. So people want to get their products on here. It's just, if I was a better YouTuber, I probably would take a lot of these deals, man. But a lot of it isn't for me. Like, every affiliate company that I work with, the first thing I tell them is, don't tell me to wear your shirt that has your company logo on it. Don't make me wear your fucking hat that has your company logo on it. I ain't doing none of that shit. I'm not wearing no polo shirts, and I'm not none of that.
Right.
Don't tell me how to make the content. Just let me do my thing, and we'll be good. And so far, there's only a couple companies that fuck with me because of that. But I rock with them, man.
Yeah, those are the ones that matter.
Yeah, there's a lot of them that get mad, and the contracts never get signed because of they don't want to. Like, I got demands too. You know what I mean? And mine are pretty easy. Don't tell me how to make these fucking videos.
Period.
My way, and my way only.
Period.
Andy Davis, you're doing an awesome job. Time erases all. Practice makes perfect.
That's it.
That part.
That's it. I preach that shit all the time, getting your reps in, right? A lot of people don't understand that when I'm talking about get your reps in. I'm just talking about get your feet wet, make some shirts, weed some vinyl, figure out your process. And then that's when the shit starts rolling. Once you figure out how everything works, man, after that, then the wheels start turning. You know what I mean? So I encourage everybody to, even if you're making shirts for yourself or for your family or whatever it is, as long as you got the press rolling, you're learning at that point. You know what I mean? I would hate for you to learn on an actual paid job. Just learn for the free shit in case you fuck up.
Yeah. I gotta ask you this question.
Yeah.
So you work with a few machines over there.
Yeah.
You only get to choose one. Which one are you choosing?
One heat press.
Okay. So you chose. He chose.
I'm going Heat Press Nation Signature Pro, man, all day long.
Okay.
15 by 15. That thing's been, for me, that's been the bulk of my business has ran through that machine.
Why don't you use a bigger heat press?
Like a 16 by 20?
Yeah.
I hate when like you do like size medium shirts and then the sleeve of the medium shirt is still on the press.
Yeah.
I hate that shit. Yeah. So 15 by 15 is perfect because every size small all the way to 3X, 4X, it lays down smooth every time. The 16 by 20, it just has that extra inch where size small and medium shirts don't lay all the way across. I don't know if it fucks the press up, but I hate the way that shit looks when you press it down and it like just irons out a little piece of the sleeve. I hate that shit. So 15 by 15 for me is the move.
I just set this. I got this 15 by 15 here. This little cute little thing that I won from PKO sales.
Yeah.
I've been using a 16 by 20 for the last few years. I forgot how cute and pretty these little 15 by 15 are. They just cute as a button. Yeah, I forgot, man. My 16 by 20 had some issues, so I brought that back.
I just did a show. Oh shit! I'll show you right now. Hold on. I'm testing out a new design right now that I'm doing, but the design is big as shit, right? So I had to go onto the 16 by 20.
Oh yeah.
So I'm testing that shit out now. That's right. Yeah. So if everybody knows, like I test out all my designs with vinyl first before I order transfers. So this is me testing this out. Gonna put it out, see if it works. If it works, cool. Then I'll get some transfers made. But this design is gonna be 12 and a half inches wide by 16 and a half inches big on the back. So I got to use the 16 by 20 for that. The only other thing I use that for is the 16 by 20 is like motorcycle club shirts. They use big patches on the back. But outside of that, 15 by 15 for everything, man.
So you said you're going to test it out. How you test it out?
That shirt is my son will wear that. He'll wear it to somewhere that's where I think the target audience would like that shirt here in Los Angeles. And then judging by the reactions of people tapping them on the shoulder, hey, where'd you get that shirt? Or that's cool. Or hearing people snicker about it and talk about it. That's all the information I need to get some transfers made. I need that real world, real life reaction from the people to see if it's going to be good or not. Because just putting the shit up on social media, people like shit just out of habit. Like they just like shit just to like shit. But when somebody takes the time out to say, hey, where'd you get that shirt? Or that's a cool shirt. That's when you know you have something there. You know what I mean? It's going to grab some attention. And that way I don't waste money on transfers that I know won't sell, right? I just cut one out of vinyl, wear it around. If it works, I get transfers made. If it don't work, I just wasted one shirt and a little bit of vinyl. I'd rather save the money right there and not waste it on some transfers that I can't move.
Right. That's another one of the things I learned from you.
4 fingers down, huh?
4 fingers down, yeah. Yeah, man.
What's the setup? Someone should
say it again. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead. You was commenting. Go ahead.
Oh shit! I don't even know what I was saying, man.
What's the perfect setup for somebody that's getting into the business? You know, the heat press, but like, I got $1,000. What you telling me to do?
Oh shit! Signature Pro press and a vinyl cutter of your choosing. Cameo preferably, but Cricut's cool too. But I would say that'll get you in the ball game easy. And I would say white vinyl. Get white vinyl, and then you could get whatever color T-shirt you want. I hate telling people get different colored vinyl because there's too much to choose from. If you get white vinyl, you could press on every color shirt but white. So possibilities are endless with that. But Signature Pro, it's got to be. If you have the money for it, to me, that's the press of my choosing. Because that's where I seen majority of my success was through that press.
So, you know, you just hurt a lot of hearts and feelings when you said, get you some vinyl.
We ain't hurt no hearts. He telling the truth. We all love vinyl.
I'm with it, man. You see, I got, you can't really see it, but there's a gang of vinyl back there. But it's some hearts and some feelings was hurt when he said, get some vinyl and started. Then nobody, you know. Let me ask you this question since we own that. So you said get your heat press, get you some vinyl. How do you feel about these stock transfers that people are selling now since DTF and all this stuff is cracking?
That shit is crazy to me.
Selling the same design. How you feel about that?
To me, this is my own personal opinion. For anybody that has a DTF printer that's selling stock transfers, they're doing that because they need to keep their machine running. They don't have enough people, you know, sending them artwork to print transfers. Those machines got to run every fucking day. So in order to get that machine to run every day, start banging out stock transfers because you need it to run, right? For the people doing it, there's a space for it. I understand there's a space on Etsy for that, like selling stock transfers. But at the same exact time, the design got to be good. And a lot of the designs that I see, it doesn't come across that good. You know what I mean? Or maybe it's the sales pitch in the guys selling it, and it's not coming across the right way.
Right.
So for me, I don't see a way that you can make a lot of money using stock transfers unless you have a booming Etsy site already and shit's moving. But to get out from bare nothing, like you just got a heat press and that's it, making money with stock transfers would be a hard sell, man. To me, I think it would be. You know what I mean? I think you'd probably see a little bit more success coming up with your own ideas and hiring a graphic designer to bring them to life for you. But buying somebody else's idea, that's kind of a hard sell, especially if, 20 other people on Etsy selling the same exact shit.
Yeah, see, like, I agree 100% with what you just said.
Yeah.
And I've been doing this t-shirt a day since the beginning of the year. I've released 138 different designs, one a day this year.
Yeah.
2023. And I'm not a graphic designer. I'm not the best, but every day I do something a little bit better than yesterday.
Fuck yeah.
And I'm not releasing the same stuff that the other 497,000 people are releasing,
Yeah.
And one day somebody gonna be like, oh, that's the one. And, but I did it. And like you were saying earlier, really, I'm leaving money on the table because I don't have a lot of time to push the product, any particular design.
Yeah.
The lessons that I learned from doing this, the experience I'm getting, the motivating and inspiring other people to do different challenges for themselves, and and contributing to this game we all love. And I think that's the most important part about that. And
man, when I seen you doing that, I thought to myself, hey, I'll try to do that. And then I said, fuck no, I can't do that shit, man. Like, doing the design a day is fucking crazy, man.
It's
like,
hard.
Hats off to you, man, because there's no way that I could keep up with that shit. And
it's hard.
The homie Odyssey Rock, like, oh, you guys had him on before.
Yeah.
But his TikTok, when he shows his exercises of him just like creating designs for like his warm-up designs.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Warm-up designs are like my home run designs. I'm like, man, you gonna throw that shit away? But it fires up me and the other homies that work in this shop, because when we see that, we're like, oh shit, he's working. I got to get to work. I got to get these reps in too. So every time I see Tony doing that shit, man, that shit fires me up. And in my group chats with some of my homies that run brands, we're sending his videos back and forth like, man, hey, this dude is moving. You got to get on your shit.
Period.
Yeah.
Period.
All right, salute. Colette Christopher asked, what vinyl do you guys use?
I use Econo Transfer. I don't know what you guys use. Econo's been working the best for myself. One, because James is cool as shit.
Yeah.
Two, because it comes in a 20-inch roll. And three, because he has like every type of vinyl you could even think of.
Yeah.
For myself, that's why I've been rocking with him.
I wish I could turn my computer so y'all could see this amount of vinyl I have right here. I love vinyl.
Yeah. I use Econo and Caesar, from Caesar and Econo. I'm not gonna say which one I think is the best because I got friends out there, but both of those are decent. They both really good for me.
Yeah. I used to use Thermoflex.
Thermoflex.
I used to use Thermoflex was because I could buy it from McLogan, which is in downtown LA. Mm-hmm. And that's where I used to pick up my t-shirts. So since I was out there, I'd just pick up vinyl. That was the only place you could go into and buy vinyl on a roll. Mm-hmm. But now there's like Printer Supply Warehouse. There's a few different places around here. That's the only reason I used to use Thermoflex, not because it was the best. It was just what was available to me.
Mm-hmm. Miketees forgot to say his kind of vinyl.
What you say?
You forgot to tell the people what kind of vinyl you use.
I'm in Econo and I do use Caesar for some jobs, but mainly Econo. Everybody not use Econo, man.
Yeah.
Everybody don't know. You gotta let them know that you
got They know. Trust me, they know.
He got like 700 rows of Econo transfer.
Hell yeah.
E-Town Shirts, what's going on?
Oh yeah.
Appreciate you tapping in. What about shows? And are you going to any shows coming up?
Right on, real right.
I was planning on going out to a few this year. The next one I'll probably be at is the Long Beach show, the Graphics Expo. Mm-hmm. That one's coming up in August. I wanted to go to the Atlantic City Impression show. But shit just didn't work out. Like I was supposed to go out to Miami too for Deco Summit. I think that's what it's called in September. Mm-hmm. But I got some other travel lined up with that, so I'm not gonna be able to make it. My calendar at the beginning of the year is usually open, and then shit just starts filling in. I try to get these shows in, but since companies like they don't pay me to come out to these shits like other content creators, I just go just for the vibes. So I know other people have obligations when they go out. You know what I mean? Like when I was at Impressions this last January and seeing all the content creators there, they all had obligations to be at. Got to be at this booth, and I got to go over here, and I got to do this. And I was just kind of floating around the crowd, drinking beers and just vibing with the people, man. Like, and the companies that did ask me to be there, I politely turned them down and just said, "No, I just kind of want to vibe with the people. I don't want to be out here obligated to go do shit." You know what I mean?
Right.
And I'll still stop in their booth and hang out and chop it up and try to draw a crowd and stuff like that. But not for no money. I just do it just because.
Right. How is it for you going to them shows and you just want to hang out? Do you actually get that?
It's kind of weird, man. Like, it's cool to meet the people, slap hands, and chop it up. But it is draining. Like, I didn't realize how you know, for like the content creators that stand in a booth all day and they get like a lunch break, but they're there slapping hands and having people come up to them. I don't know how they do that shit, man. Like, I'll stop and talk to everybody. But if I had like a million, like a shitload of people all at once, I'll tell you like this. 2017 or 2018 ISS show, I gave away a heat press, a hat press. It was my own shit. I brought it with me in my trunk, raffled it off, and we drew a crazy ass crowd around a bar in the Impressions Expo, and they shut me down, man.
Wow.
They didn't want us congregating in this space, and at the time, like, my channel wasn't as big as it is today, but the people that were coming to the show were coming because they heard me talk about that show. So obviously we're talking and having a good time. Everybody's drinking, everybody's having a good time, and security came and shut us down, man. Wow. So I ended up still raffling off the thing, but to a smaller crowd, and G6 Customs ended up winning that shit. But that was like the first time I got to meet them. And but outside of that, man, I just go there for the vibe, man. I'm out there cruising around. I'm looking at shit just like everybody else. You know, no obligations, I'm not tied down to no company or nothing. Just doing my thing. And also meeting the influencers is kind of cool. The content creators, just seeing how they, like, these dudes busting out tripods and cameras and they doing all kind of crazy shit. And I'm like, man, at the most, I just take out my phone and do a little quick clip, and that's it, man. Yeah. Busting out lights and they got all kind of shit going on. I'm like, oh, man, this shit.
Camera crews. I seen somebody in the camera crew when I was out in Long Beach.
The person that does it good is Rye Beats, man. Rye Beats cruise around and he got the small setup and he's in and out, man.
Yeah, Rye.
When I see him move, I'm like, yeah, that's the way to do it. And
Rye, he busts his move, get around. He know everybody knows him, and he keep it moving, man. Yep. Rye's a good guy, man. I like him, man.
Yeah.
Tony Artist, Big Brfandoh is famous.
Connie,
he sure is.
Nah, man, that shit. I told you, man, I cannot get a grip on that shit yet. I haven't embraced it because I haven't figured out how to deal with it yet. But it's cool.
So, do you get recognized in LA as a YouTuber?
Yeah. So it's crazy. At places I go, there's people that aren't even into t-shirts, but I pop up on their TikTok page or something like that.
Oh,
like, that makes t-shirts, right? Like, yeah. So I'll talk to everybody, you know what I mean, and cruise around and slap hands with everybody, but still it just feels kind of weird because I come from an era where you just don't approach random people, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you know, somebody tapping you on the shoulder, somebody coming up to you. I'll tell you this, man. Shout out to the homie Buffalo Black. I was vending at a show last year. It was a Hawaiian festival, and big old dude, like swole up, tatted up, big dude. He came like muscling through the crowd, and I was behind the table. I was ringing somebody up, and I seen him out the corner of my eye, and I was already on the defense because I'm like, oh shit, like, did I sell him a bad shirt or some shit? Like, he came in aggressive, and when I seen him rolling in, then he showed love. He was like, hey, what's up? I watch your videos and this and that. But the way he came in, I said, wait a minute, man. Like, this dude, I was just like, man, I don't know if I'm supposed to run or if I'm like knock the table over and try to distract him. Yeah. But he teaches jujitsu in Northern California. But when I seen him, I was like, oh shit, like my spidey senses were on. I'm like, hey, this dude wants some trouble, man. Like, this dude came in and it looked like he was gonna turn out the whole booth, but he ended up being cool as shit. But it's like stuff like that. Like, I don't know who's who because I don't see everybody's face through YouTube. They see mine, but I don't see theirs.
Right.
I don't understand it. But you know, I'm still I'm on the defense always because I think I grew up that way. But I think it's cool, man. Slapping hands with people.
This comment says, BB been my mentor and hasn't even known it. Much respect.
Hey, man, I appreciate that. I'll wear that title proudly, man. You know, I've been saying it this whole interview, but as long as you're using the information that I share, that's all I need you to do. That's paying me back 1,000%.
Hella people do, man. You've helped a lot of people.
You know what's crazy is when I used to do lives, back then when I was doing a lot of lives, I would always recognize your guys' names, right? 12 Gone, obviously I would recognize that because I didn't know what it meant. Miketees was always in there too. Yeah. So I always used to be like, I never put the face to the name. You know what I mean? When I used to do lives, because I was going live like 2-3 times out the week from my car. and you guys was jumping on and helping out the community and talking and asking questions. But I never put the faces to anybody because at that time I didn't even have an Instagram for the YouTube channel. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I remember.
So I was a late bloomer to that shit too. Like I said, man, I'm not the best YouTuber, man. I'm doing it backwards.
Man, you make it look good if that's the case.
That's for sure.
Yeah, it took like I didn't start my YouTube Instagram until like 2020 or something like that, man. It took me a long time to get on because I just wasn't privy to reaching out to the people on all social platforms. Just doing it on YouTube only.
Yeah, I don't like Instagram. They can keep that shit. Nah, I don't have no love, man. I post 37 videos a day, and out of 37 videos, I got 97 views. Shit. Yeah, that Instagram is for the birds, man. They can have that shit. So, man, you want to read a couple more questions?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, they came out and showed love, man. For all y'all, man, that don't, man, y'all subscribe while you're here, man. We do this every Thursday. New guests every week. You never know who might pop up, man.
That's dope, man. How long you guys been doing this?
3 years.
3?
2020?
2020 is when we,
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
We got damn near 200 interviews.
Hell yeah.
I'll be like scrolling on my phone or something on TikTok, like interview him. Him. Like that. Oh yeah, and then like it's crazy. Like I forget because we've done so many. We've talked to so many people, and this all got started because we used to have our little crew, me, miketees, you dig, and Jay Styles. And I started out interviewing them.
Oh shit!
And then I was like, interviewed miketees, Fael, and them, and then it just became a thing, and we ran with it. Me and Mike have never dropped the ball, let it go. You know, we started over with this thing 4 or 5 times, but we still keep going.
That's right.
You know, and we've come to a point where like we just took like a break for like a month or so, came back, and then like this last time after taking that break and the how we got received coming back, like this podcast mean a lot more to people than it does to us, and that shit is humbling.
That's dope.
You know?
Yeah.
Like I didn't realize the impact that we had. Like it's dope, man. Just being able to let people hear these stories, share these stories, and you know, it's fun. I love it.
That's right.
I do too. I have the same passion.
The way you guys do it, though, you guys do it every Thursday, and then you live stream it on the Squad Creative page, and then it just stays on there.
Yeah, it'll be there. It'll sit there.
Oh.
We got a bunch of other interviews up there. It'll be there. Then we're gonna clip it up. You're gonna start seeing clips popping up.
Yeah, hell yeah.
You want to read something, Mike?
TikTok, Instagram, Facebook.
Oh yeah.
What's the other app we follow? Let's see. I can't even remember the name.
Clapper.
Clapper.
I want to start my picture business.
You can hear us on Pandora, Spotify, all that.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
everything, man.
Eli Garcia. Yeah. Want to know how to start your brand up? The best way to do it is just get the. You got to start doing the research now. Don't jump in blind, and you want to make. Don't buy outside of your budget either. Just because there's a lot of content creators talking about different shit, you don't got to buy all that stuff. The shit you could start with just a heat press, buy transfers, or you could buy a vinyl cutter and get it going. Or you could buy the shit that fits your budget. Cricut from OfferUp, buy a used heat press if you have to, and just get it going. But I wouldn't waste any money that you don't have to, because that money could go to like blank t-shirts and more vinyl and transfers. But watching content creators like myself and these guys right here, they'll show you all aspects of running this business, because a lot of people come and they say, hey, I want to learn how to start a t-shirt business, but I don't know what the hell that means. Do you want to sell custom shirts, or you want to run a brand, or do you want to do contract printing, operate like a print shop? Just getting into t-shirts, you could learn all that from the guys on YouTube already. But the easiest way to get going is buy a heat press. Buy a heat press, right. Watch a shitload of videos, man. YouTube is amazing for that.
There's a difference, like people don't understand, like when they say business, because you can have a clothing line, you can just have a t-shirt brand, you can like there's so many different lanes. I'm doing it, but I'm confused because I don't know what the hell I am anymore. But it's fun, man. It's a great place. It's a great space to be in.
You know, I think what you get out of what you're doing right now with all the one design a day thing is you're figuring out your workflow now, right? Your design workflow. And now it's going to come to a point where people are going to hit you up like, hey, I want to do this, this, and this. They're going to throw an idea, and you're already going to know what font to use, how to manipulate that, how to get it going. And you're teaching yourself, and you don't even know it right now. But then when somebody throws you that job, you're like, oh, shit, I know exactly what to do with this. Right. That's all it is, man. Like when we're talking about getting the reps in one a day, you got the fucking reps in, man. That's crazy. Man, that shit makes me tired just watching your shit. I'm like, damn, man.
This what works for them will not work for the same for you, period.
Oh, yeah.
Period.
That's exactly it, man.
Yo, to everybody, it's a lot of comments. We greatly appreciate the love that was poured out tonight.
Man.
I'm trying to read them all, but I'm going back on ones I didn't even see. Elena T, tap that thumbs up, slap that bell to stay in the know of what's going on in the industry with the Squad Creatives podcast. Oh, yeah. I greatly appreciate it.
100%, man. 100%. Damn, Cortez Ross. You guys remember that dude?
Yep. That's the first person.
That's one of the first dudes I seen talking about transfers on YouTube, man.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That was a while ago. That's Eric Custer, though. Shout out to you, Eric.
Hell yeah.
Really appreciate it.
So, what's this? Oh, comment, Mr. Slash. Who is BB's biggest influence? I don't even know. Like, I was talking about this earlier. My local heroes are the dudes that was getting it in the street. That's something that I've prided myself on, because I just watched how they moved, and then I just moved accordingly. Outside of that, when it comes to like influence making t-shirts and stuff like that, money's the big influence for that, because I just want to figure out where I could create designs for a certain group and then kind of infiltrate that little secret society and start making money in that space. So money does drive that. And then also when I see people design stuff that I think I could do better, that motivates me like a motherfucker, man. And not saying that I'm better than everybody else, but it just challenges me to make something that I think could stand up with whatever's out now or do better than that. And then if it does do better and I make sales, then it was a win, right?
Yeah, man.
But I like that challenge. I like trying to figure out, how I'm going to sell something or how I'm going to get into this certain space and make some money, make a name for myself in that space. I like that challenge.
Good.
Oh, Big Brfandoh. This is I'll read that Ernest Sosa.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with TKO? Yeah, but it's super color for me.
I actually wanted press from TKO.
Yeah, man. I'm familiar just by people asking about TKO all the time. I've tried them out and it didn't work for me. But like I said, I'm not in the business to bash a company. I don't think the transfers are bad. It just doesn't work for myself.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, being all the way on the other side of the country doesn't work for me either.
Right.
Colors are literally down the street from me. So I just picked the shit up. They used to be in Gardena down the street from like where I grew up. And when I figured that out, I said, oh shit, like I'm all in. Like anything coming out of Gardena, I support 1,000%. So obviously they were operating out of there, and I was fucking with them solely off of their location.
Yeah, man.
And then through time, it just made sense business-wise for all my shops to use Supercolor. That's why we've been rocking with them. And they haven't failed yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
Support local. Yeah,
Big
that's
Brandoh,
exactly
man.
it. That's it. Support local. I stand behind that shit, man. One, I'm a cheap ass and I don't like paying for shipping. If I can pick it up myself and save on the shipping and freight costs, I'm gonna do that all day long, man. So the blank t-shirt companies I fuck with, they're within driving distance to me, because I hate paying for shipping, man.
That's one of the good things about LA, man. Everything is right there.
Yeah.
You got the fashion district. Y'all got every company around you.
Yeah. And I just found out that Next Level moved to Torrance. They used to be in Gardena also, but they moved to Torrance. They got a big ass warehouse, which is like 10 minutes from me. And they got like, they just moved in because I just seen the sign go up, but I don't really use Next Level too much, but to know that they're here is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
So
do you guys
Brandoh, I'm gonna need to do a part 2 with you.
Say it again.
Few, but everything is around me though. It's not in my city per se, but it's right around me.
Like
So
driving
I can
distance.
get to, like, driving literally.
That's right.
Literally driving distance, or as far as like Supercolor being in Atlanta, right there.
Oh yeah.
Not just all the way on the West Coast. I get my stuff super quick. So it almost feel like it's overnighted for me. I don't know.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
But we gonna have to do a part 2, Big Brandoh.
Hey, I'm down,
I didn't
man.
get to ask all that I wanted to ask.
Yeah.
I'm down. How long we did? I haven't even seen the time.
About 2 hours.
Oh shit.
It's and it went quick. It was a quick 2 hours.
I'm down for the part 2, man. Put it on record. I'm down with the part 2.
Yeah, for sure, man. That'll be fun. This was dope, man. This was dope.
I just want to give you a shout out and give you a rose.
Appreciate
What's
that?
You look frozen to me at first. I'm like, are you here? It looked like you were just.
I'm here with my computer mic dropping. All my children just came in and started hogging on the Wi-Fi, so that's why there may be a little delay going on.
Oh, good, man.
But I just want to give you a roses real quick, man. We appreciate you coming.
Thank you, guys. 100%.
Yeah, thank you for coming out, man. This is a dope interview, great conversation with you, man. And and I don't care what y'all people say. I was groupieing up in here today, and I'm proud of it. Proud groupie right here.
Lord, man, I appreciate both you guys, man, for real. Especially for what you guys are doing for our content creator space, man. You guys are giving the platform to a lot of people, big channels and small channels, which is dope to me, man. You guys ain't just fishing out the big dogs. You guys are giving everybody a chance, and I think that's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, man.
Yep.
That's how we rub off on some other folks down the line,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But if y'all haven't, man, like, comment, subscribe, man. We do this every Thursday. Tell your friend to tell a friend to come on through. We here, man. Big Brandoh again. Thank you, brother, and everybody in the audience. Thank y'all for coming out. We will see y'all next week with another special guest that off the top of my head I cannot remember at the moment. Sorry. But we will see y'all.
Appreciate you guys, man.
Man, thank you.
Yep.